Hello, everybody out there in podcast land. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. This episode is brought to you by Transfuse. Transfuse is the only all-natural electrolyte drink that you guys need to have in your cabinets. We love this stuff. We've been using this for an entire season now. This stuff is amazing. I feel great when I drink Transfuse. I drink it every single day. I don't go a day without putting a packet of Transfuse in my water. It's very easy, very portable, easy to travel with, and delicious to drink, which means that you're going to love drinking it and you're going to drink more of it, which is going to be incredibly beneficial to your health. Has magnesium, potassium, sodium, which are all amazing for proper hydration. It has zinc, vitamin C, vitamin B, and choline. These things are incredible cognitive enhancers and immune boosting formulas that you don't want to miss out on, especially in times like this. I'm telling you, I drink Transfuse every single day. I love it. Tyler does as well. Anybody who has tried it has been just pouring with great feedback back to us. There's a reason that they're at all the NXL events, and a lot of the top teams and top professionals are using this product. Do not walk around dehydrated. I never realized how dehydrated I was, even when I was drinking all sorts of water. It's not enough. You need the proper nutrition. You need the right ingredients. Transfuse has done a great job of curating the perfect formula. Transfuse is absolutely spectacular, and for all of our listeners, there is a special deal for any Play the Game listener. If you head over to translabs.com, that's TRANZLABS.com, and use code PLAYTHEGAME at checkout, you will get 10% off. If you subscribe, which means they auto ship you your package every single month, whatever you want, whatever type, whatever flavor, whatever electrolyte formula you desire, they will give you an additional 11% off. So it becomes a 21% discount exclusively for all Play the Game listeners. Huge shout out, and we are incredibly thankful for our supporters. And if you guys would like to go support them, it's translabs.com. Use code PLAYTHEGAME. We are brought to you by Heal Brand. Heal Brand is the best CBD company that we have ever come across. I've been taking CBD products for years now, and I absolutely love it. But Heal Brand has taken my CBD consumption level to the next tier. This stuff is really the luxurious, high-quality, best brand that you're going to come across. Their whole claim to fame is the nanotechnology. It's the real deal. The claim is that through their nanotechnology, the CBD can actually break through the cellular wall and get into the bloodstream much faster and more efficiently. So you need less to do more. Often CBD products, you'll need to take it for a couple weeks before you really start noticing all of the benefits. With this stuff, as soon as you take it, you notice it right away. Within 15, 20 minutes, you're feeling the benefits of CBD. CBD is great for inflammation, anxiety, sleeping, all sorts of different stuff. CBD is really exploding on the scene because it has such a wide variety of benefits. I personally love to use CBD before I go to bed so I can get a full, well-rested night of sleep. Sleep is so crucial. It's so important. If you want to recover well, if you want to fight off depression and anxiety and those unwanted emotions, proper sleep is where you need to start. CBD products really help me do that, and Heal Brand CBD has a wide variety of options of different products, different formulas. It is all natural. It's amazing. This stuff is fantastic. You guys can head over to healbrand.com, check them out, and there is an exclusive offer to all of our PTG listeners. If you use code PLAYTHEGAME at checkout, you'll get 10% off. This episode is brought to you by G2 Paintball. G2 Paintball is a paintball athletics company designed to make you a better paintball athlete. If you guys haven't heard about G2, you need to go over to g2paintball.com right now and figure out how you can become better at your craft. The Dynasty guys, all of us, we went out to Arizona and did an intense 3-day G2 training before World Cup, and we think that it really paid dividends and helped us go the extra distance. When we were running deep into the tournament, we were well prepared. G2 Paintball is unlike any other paintball company because they are geared around making you a better paintball athlete. So often I see players training in ways that are not going to help them be more functional and agile on the paintball field. In paintball, you have very specific movements that are hard to train for. G2 Paintball has done a great job of customizing a training program to make it so that you can maximize your abilities on the paintball field. G2 Paintball has also recently partnered up with the Paintball Combine. We're going to be out there in Arizona. Ryan Greenspan, myself, Tyler Harmon, Rusty Glaze, many, many more out there at the Paintball Combine in Arizona. If you guys are in the area, this is your chance to come to the Combine, showcase what you got. You know, everyone says they want to go pro. Well, here's your chance to get seen by all of the pro players and to put your skills to the test and be actually recorded on the national and global level. Do not miss this opportunity. You guys could head over to g2paintball.com to learn more about G2. Head over to paintballcombine.com, learn more about the paintball combine. If you guys are in the area, do not miss this event. All right, everybody, we're going to hop in there. This is a Marcello and Mantis show where we talk about everything current, past, present, future, all the stuff that's going on. We talk about some of the previous shows, things going on in the league, the world. We just kind of shoot the shit and have a good time. So without further ado, we're going to hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcello Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcello Margot was on fire.
There he is, my boy.
Let's
T
go.
Harm.
Yeah,
T
Daddy.
Harm.
You already know what it is. We out here in the Bay Area. I got the Golden Gate Bridge behind me. Just live and laugh.
I knew you were moving back soon. I knew you weren't going to stay
I got
in Arizona
houses
for
all
that
over
long.
the country. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
There we go. There we go. House in AZ, house up there in the Bay.
Yeah.
Man, what's going on out there? What's up?
Nothing. Just I got my 2 beautiful children in the room next door. I said, if you need some more crackers or water, just knock on the door. And they're hanging out right here, just hanging out with the kids, taking care of them, making lunch, full-time dad and entrepreneur, paintball player. So just making it all happen.
There we go. For all the PTG listeners, all of our PTG family, this is one of the Marcello and Mantis shows. We want to do a few more of these where Tyler and I get to kind of break down previous shows and actually talk about stuff that we have going on, stuff that's going on in the league, the world, all that kind of stuff, and just be able to connect a little bit more. Obviously, we really love the shows with our guests. They've been some of the most amazing conversations and experiences that I can remember. Like we've been having a blast with those, but we also want to have a space where we can kind of, share our opinions on stuff and talk to you guys a little separately and have some fun, So that's what it is. Keep it light, keep it right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like when we started everything in the beginning, we would do the original shows like Road to Pro and Mindset and all these different little intricacies that are very valuable. And like you said, it's been unbelievable having everybody on the show. Like that is crazy that we're able to connect and hear all these wild stories and just hear, how these individuals live and how they've perceived paintball and how they're doing today. So that's been really special. But we also want to just have that quality time, be able to give that back to you guys as well.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Speaking of shows, that Losoya one was epic, dude.
He's a beast. He's an animal.
He's a beast. Yeah, I mean, through and through, that's just who he is. He's just as real as it gets, unapologetic in all of his movements. And that's why he was just such a dominator on the field, dude. And in life, like he goes after what he wants, whatever he wants, he's not shy about it.
Respectfully. You better know it. Respectfully.
Yep.
And, Losoya is the godfather of paintball. He is the cornerstone of what birthed everything that is we have today right now in competitive paintball. It's from Losoya,
the aggression for sure, there was obviously people before him that paved the way, some real old school guys, but you're right, Ty. Losoya was like the first superstar, and that's no shade. I mean, I know Dave Youngblood in his time was kind of perceived as a superstar, but it was just much smaller. There wasn't as much going on with the media and things like that when, it was like the perfect timing, kind of like with Oliver, things were really exploding when Oliver came on the scene and when he went and did everything that he did. And so, Losoya was like that first, like just electrifying player, that you watched as a kid where you were like almost afraid to be in his presence because he was just such a ripper, dude. He just didn't know.
He still is to this day, and we love him so much. So grateful to have him on the show and be able to hear his side of all the stories and everything because he's one of the best to ever do it and has one of the biggest hearts in paintball. And truly, like he said, he's like, I'm still here. I still love this game, and he still wants to be a part of it, which is amazing.
Yeah, I love that we have the OGs that listen to the show too. Major shout out to Brian Fow, LB. He was hitting us up shortly after the Losoya one dropped, and he was like laughing because they were teammates obviously for a long time. And LB was actually on the field in 2006 in Texas when Lasoya shot, I forgot the dude's name. He said Mark something, I think.
Yeah.
But when he
Lasoya was on my team. He was on Oakland.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. You guys were all on the squad. That's
Yeah.
right. But LB's like, yeah, Lasoya's memory's a little shaky on some of that stuff. I got to come on the show and set him straight. So, so I'm very curious. We're gonna have LB on here pretty soon. We just got to put that on the schedule. LB's a OG and absolute dominator in his own right. So
for sure,
major love. He's out there by you, right, Ty, in Arizona?
Yes, we hang out every once in a while. We had like a barbecue and hung out over at his relative's house, and we get to see each other pretty often. And yeah, he's out here in AZ, still into paintball, still listening to the show, and one of the most dominant paintball players as well, dipping back into that heritage of paintball. LB was a superstar as well. That whole team was just studded with top-notch paintball players.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Yeah, it was amazing to watch.
So, it was, and that was when I was coming up too, and so I was still playing divisional, and I idolized many of the pros, and was, my eyes were on everyone. You too, you were one of the pros at that time. I remember because you were so young, you were the young phenom, but my eyes were glued to what all the pros were doing. Of course, it was something that I was in love with and still am. Actually, my eyes kind of still are glued on what all the pros are doing. So, not much has changed.
For real.
But dude, let's hop into some of these topics. I think this is going to be a really valuable show for all the listeners. There's a lot going on in the paintball community right now. The season's getting started. And one thing that has been a point of concern for a lot of the teams that I'm coaching is how to prepare for a blind layout versus a layout release, because they're unsure what the league in their area is going to do. Now, what I'm hearing is the reason being is a lot of the leagues, dates were kind of messed up this year, as you can imagine, with COVID and the NXL being pushed back and the NXL waiting so long to release their dates. Usually the NXL releases their dates and then all the other leagues release afterwards.
That's right.
So that they don't step on each other's toes. Unfortunately, this year, some of the regional leagues just had to get dates out there. And it ended up being to where a lot of these events, regional, national, they're like 2 weeks apart. So the field owners are in a tough spot where they're not sure, if there are layout releases, they don't know which layout to put up because some teams are only going to be playing one league, some another league. So it's best for the fields, is what I'm hearing, if there's no layout release, because then a local field can put up any layout, any practice layout, and all the teams in that area will still be able to get a productive practice. So the leagues, from what I hear, are kind of taking this into consideration and haven't decided exactly what they're going to do. So teams are curious, how do they put together practices if it is a blind layout, or even more so, Tyler, something I know you wanted to talk with the listeners about for quite some time now, how to put together a practice when there is a layout. Let's talk about both those things. Do you want to start with a productive practice if there is a layout?
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So obviously if there's a layout, dialing in all the shots and having that benefit of knowing, what you're going to be seeing on tournament day is something that you have to be well prepared for. And also, knowing where you can and cannot go is something that you're going to have the benefit of figuring out when you have a layout as opposed to the other way. So a lot of what we do as dynasty players, when we first look at a field and we know the layout, is just figuring out all of the intricacies of the shots. Obviously, those are very, very, very important. Come Sunday, whoever's making the shots is going to win the tournament. You're going to have that advantage over the other team when you make those shots. And if they're not dialed in, that could be the separator that gets you into the next round and possibly holding a trophy. So, having those intricacies dialed in with the shots, knowing exactly how far you can push it off the break as well. Because you gotta experiment. You gotta try and take everything you possibly can during practice. And when you have a field layout, you can run through those. Even when you don't have a field layout, the first few games, that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be kind of testing the waters there.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's a good point. The shots are so big. That's the first thing I do when there's a layout release. The first time I see the layout, I walk to the back spots and I look for shots, right? Whether it's a back center or a blind spot off the start gate, anywhere that you're going to be in a shooting position, I look to see the different shots I have on the snake runners, the twos, the Dorito runners, the twos on that side. And you just kind of go through the progression, right? And then once you do that, I like to walk through it as the runner. And I already have in my head, okay, their shooters are going to like to shoot through this gap. So is there a route that can help me maneuver around his lane if that's where he's going to be shooting, to see how, as a front player, I could get out wide. That actually also helps me as a shooter, right? Because I figure if I'm able to break this down and process this, the other top players in the league are going to be able to do the same. So, now you're a few steps ahead, right? You can start by shooting one lane, and then if players are getting through it or going the other route, you have the answer for that as a shooter as well, because you already walked it as a runner. We're getting kind of deep into the layers there. But then I like to go and check out all the front spots, right? Because you want to know what spot's going to be the most dangerous on the field. That's how you win paintball games.
Yeah.
Typically, your game plans are going to be geared around getting to the spot that puts the most pressure on the other team and gets the most kills, right?
Absolutely.
So, often it's around the 50-yard line. Could be a 50 Dorito, could be the center 50, could be a snake 50. You want to go walk them and see the calculations. One, how easy is it to get here? What are my routes to get here? And what are my shots when I do get here? Then you can kind of put it on a scale and determine how important and crucial that bunker is going to be in the event, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot like you love golf, and paintball isn't too far off from golf. When you think of it as you got your long game, your mid game, and your short game, and paintball is kind of the same. There's 3 layers to this, and you have your off the break.
Stop. I got to stop you right now. Don't ever compare golf to paintball again. Ty, I just went out and you already know how bad of a day I had today at the golf course. Why would you bring golf up right now? Honestly, I was finally getting in a good mood again. And now I'm going to break this microphone. No, golf is nothing like paintball.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, you did. Today was a rough one. Thankfully, the legs on your bags are still standing. You didn't whack those off with your golf club or
dude,
break anything, so that's good.
There was broken paint in my barrel all day today. All day. I couldn't shoot straight. I core sampled. I did everything. Damn it, golf is just like paintball.
Actually. It happens,
You can core sample.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Man.
And but yeah, it's really cool how there's those layers, It's just like you got to respect the layers of the game. There's, your off the break shooting, your mid game where the communication is pivotal, and then you have your end game where you're in these big bunkers, these 50 spots that are going to close out games, and you have to know how to navigate those and be a real attacker when you're in those positions. And also, a lot of people who play front, they think that they just got to attack, right? But it's also about tossing that ball backwards too, and getting the assist going with your teammates behind you. Because I'll tell you what, that wins us so many games on Dynasty. And I know, there's tons of players that can attest to this, is when you have a lot of pressure and you have a lot of opportunity to connect with your teammate and pass that pressure and opportunity around, it gets the ball flowing. And then you guys are able to make really good decisions together. And if the opponent team isn't doing that, you're going to close them out. You're going to win that game,
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. So for productive practice, let's kind of go in succession here. So anyone listening can write this down and bring it out if they're playing this weekend or next weekend, whenever it is, they can start implementing this stuff right away. I think so. First of all, you want to walk the field with your teammates. You want to find the good spots on the field and get a good general idea of what you'll be doing, right?
For sure.
Then start playing. Period. Just play some 5-on-5 games.
Before that, let's get a good warm up together. Let's get all the boys together and do a group warm up, and make sure that we're all tuned in mentally together as well, because you can kind of see what's going on with people when you get into that warm up, and see where everyone's head's at and how we're going to approach the practice. So definitely warm up together. Make sure you guys are all dialed in. Get a little huddle, a little like chant going or whatever. Keep everybody zened in and tuned in to the same program. And then, like you said, hop out there and look at it together too. Do everything together. Communicate a lot out there for each other.
I can't stress the importance. And, honestly, I kind of get sick of talking about it because some people just don't get it and they don't believe it. I can't stress the importance enough of doing everything together.
Yeah.
I really can't. The little things, the warm up, when everyone's on the same page from start to finish, you have so much more production at the practice. You have so much more production at the event. It's just, that is what leads to championships. Bottom line, we've seen it over and over. And so you can take it for what it's worth. If you guys don't want to play or practice like that, then don't. And good luck.
Yeah.
I just, man, that's one of the things. It's so easy to do. It doesn't take skill. It doesn't take talent. It doesn't take anything other than focus. Just focus with each other. But yeah, absolutely. A good warm up to set the tone, walk the field, get some, ideas together of how you want to play, and then just start playing some 5-on-5s, like maybe 5 or 6 points where you're rotating through positions. We do an awesome thing on Dynasty kind of around the world. Everyone starts, you're the 1 on the D side, and then the next point, you're the 2 on the D side. And the point after that, you're the 3. Point after that, you're the 2 on the snake side. Point after that, you're the 1 on the snake side. And it just goes in a circle, right? If you started as the 1 on the snake side, you sit 1, and then you end up coming all the way over to the 1 on the D side and circle through.
It's so important.
And
so important to do that.
You get a really good idea of how everything plays. It's so important for players to play. One of the most common things that I hear teams tell me when they talk about, an issue, they're aware of this issue too, which is what's really funny, is they're aware that, well, often like we get to the tournament and I am not totally aware of the field because I only walked my spots. Well, you knew this. Why did you not walk the other spots? So again, that comes down to focus and, don't be lazy, do the work. If you want to win, that's the kind of stuff it takes.
Yeah. If you want to just have fun, that's cool too, but don't expect to win. Right. We're just trying to legitimately lay out the cornerstones of winning tournaments, because there is a science to this. There's a real science, and
there is.
We've been crunching numbers and making potions and doing scientific experiments for 20 years now, and we've been able to capture quite a few wins and series titles and things like that, and there's a real science behind it all, for sure.
Absolutely, man. So yeah, you want to make sure you play all the spots, go through some points to where everyone has a look at a different part of the field, and now start coming together and getting some game plans, some basic game plans, a simple bread and butter. Try a few things where you're running to one spot, right? Figure out a kind of simple little thing. I promise you, whatever game plan you're going with in these first few points are probably not going to be the game plan that you're playing with Sunday. No,
you're just getting the flow.
Exactly. You're getting the flow. You're getting a feel for what could work, what couldn't work. Try different stuff. Don't get sucked into just doing one thing because it works against whatever team you're playing against. You want to lose in practice. You want to see what doesn't work. You want another team to expose holes so you know what part of your game plan needs to be worked on, right?
For sure.
So that stuff is crucial.
Anytime that we're playing a team and we're just crushing them, we're like, oh man, this is no good.
It's no good.
Because you're going to get exposed at some point, and you want to be, getting those looks at things that you weren't thinking about or ready for in practice, not at the tournament. So like Marcello said, it's good to get beat, man. I swear to all of you out there, the best practices we have are the roughest ones, and the ones where we just want to tear each other to pieces because we can't figure something out. But you end up working way harder to get the answers that way, and you figure it out better.
Yeah. Totally. Couldn't agree more. So, okay, we're still focused on this is day 1 still, right? Day 1 on the layout. So you play some points. Let's get, halfway through the day. And then, in my opinion, you break it down into drills, right? Now from playing, okay, if we let somebody into the 50 snake, we have a really shitty chance of winning this game. Mm-hmm. So we need to do some drills to we do 2 things. We want to figure out how to keep them out of the 50 snake. And 2, if they do get into the 50 snake, what is our counter, right? Because even if you think you have a foolproof plan of keeping another team out of the 50 snake, it's not foolproof. Players are always going to find ways to slip in there and make it happen. That's just the way the game goes. So you have to figure out a counter. So first, we'll set up some simple stuff, right? Let's figure out how to shoot their attacker off the break. This is a very simple drill. You put shooters on one side, you put runners on the other side. You just have them run to the spots, and you're trying to shoot them through, start out by trying to shoot the widest spot, and then try to get good at shooting the interior guys. I love trying to shoot the interior guys because it does 2 things. You have a chance of shooting 2 people. If you can have your lane on that interior spot on, you have a chance of shooting their runner and their back guy, that's going into that 2 position. That runner has to go through that interior lane like 80% of the time, at least, right? Unless Absolutely. He's doing some weird up and over route.
Yeah, and we do that a lot. Like we'll whether it's before or after practice, we will set up stations, like you said, shooters, runners, and have everybody cycle through that and see. And then you have numbers that you can database and see what the percentages are and the likelihood of you making certain spots as well. And those percentages are so valuable when you go to that tournament, because then you're able to dip into your pocket and be like, okay, we've done this. We know we have a 60% chance of making that spot, or we have an 80% chance of making this spot. And having those statistics is very important. So doing this type of practice is super important.
It is, dude. It's very crucial, man. You got to put yourself in these uncomfortable positions too. So I think you guys get the point with setting up shots off the break. Very straightforward. You just have to do it. You just have to do it. Period.
Yeah.
Do the same thing for the Dorito side. Do the same thing for, having edgers step out. Because here, look at this, right? If you do these drills and you realize that the shooter can shoot your snake guy 90% of the time, what's the natural progression? Now, what do you need to figure out how to do?
Take that guy out.
You got to figure out how to shoot their shooter. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if another team is really good at that, are you just going to give up going to the snake side? Are you just going to concede?
No.
No. Even, sometimes that works. I guess it did kind of work for us at Cup,
Yeah,
like but only a few points, right? That can't be your whole game plan. Otherwise you'll be in a lot of trouble.
That was the trick play. That was the trick play.
Yeah, it was a trick play for sure. But then you got to figure out how to shoot their shooters, right? So now you put players that are in this edging position to help your attacker get to their spot. So what you're doing is you're now building these little blocks that are going to go together. They're going to build up and they're going to become a complete game plan. And you're going to have all this stuff in your toolbox, So when you start really making game plans and creating these little formulas of how to beat another team, you can dissect like, okay, well, this team's really good at shooting the snake side off the break. Well, guess what? We know how to counter that. Hey, Tyler, step out right here, put a ball on there too, and Arturo run up and over instead of running the deep route. Yeah. Very simple.
And for everybody listening out there, the edgers that he's talking about is those guys right off the break, right off the box, right? You as soon as that horn blows, they pretty much like drop to a knee or stay right where they're at and they shoot a cut. And those players, you can have one on a snake side or a Dorito side, typically do have a really high percentage, like you said, maybe an 80, 90% chance of hitting a guy if they do that. And you have to know how to combat that. You can't just roll over and lose because of one little detail. You got to be ready to attack those details.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Couldn't agree more, And so also, if you're playing a team, we did it Tex Factor, right? We knew Billy was going to run snake side when we decided we're going to focus all of our attention on shooting him. And we did. We shot him like 4 out of 5 points, and that really helped us build a lead. Mm-hmm. Being able to connect on those shots because we did those drills over and over and over and over and over in practice. Yes. And, we're not giving up tons of inside secrets right here. This is what all the top pro teams do. The teams that you can consistently see in the top 4, top 6, they do this stuff. They work on all these little details. And truly, to me, that's the biggest difference between those teams and the rest of the teams in the league. Maybe minus the bottom 2 or 3 because they just have almost no experience, right? So it's really hard for them. But other than that, like the teams that have the talent, the difference is all of the little details that you do at practice. Another drill I really like to do is the comfortability drill, right? So we just talked about identifying the dangerous spots. We keep saying the 50 snake. So for sake of this one, we'll say it's the 50 Dorito, or like a big wedge on the Dorito side. We put a player in that position, right? We remove our player from the Dorito side. So it's as if the other team gets to the 50, the best bunker on the field, and they have nobody in front of them, which is the biggest advantage you could have on a paintball field. And it happens all the time. And honestly, teams that win championships win those points. That's what happens. When they're down a body and they don't have good field position and they could still pull out one of those points in a match, that's a big momentum shifter. That's a big saving the team kind of point. You got to be comfortable when you're supposed to lose. And in a situation like that, the stats say you're supposed to lose, right? So place the bodies, put someone in that 50 Dorito, put another one of their teammates in the back center and another body in, say, the snake corner, right? Little 3-on-3 kind of drill. Then on, the other side, put somebody maybe as the 2 on the Dorito side, the 2 on the snake side, and maybe in snake 1. And now, because what happens, Ty, right? The 2 on the Dorito side loses his front player. The other team gets in that spot. The worst thing you could do as the 2 on that Dorito side is just die right away because you're anxious or worried and you lose a gunfight to somebody who has an advantage. And that's what happens most of the time because players are uncomfortable. They feel like they're getting pinched out. They try to make a bad move. They don't realize that they just need to marinate for a little bit, right?
As long as you're alive, you're doing everything you need to do for your team.
Totally. And this drill really teaches you to be comfortable in that situation where you're sucked into your spot. You feel like, the other team should be winning. It forces you to have some composure in that scenario and be able to break down like, okay, it's not so bad. If the other team does get into this good spot, we can still win. So you want to run drills like that over and over, like continuously put your twos in really uncomfortable positions, your twos and threes, and even your front players. Put them in positions that they're going to see in the tournament. So when they actually are in that position, they don't feel like they have to panic or freak out. They can just easily process in their mind, oh, I've done this. Okay, so I actually need to just communicate to our snake eyes to get down the field and shoot this dude in the back. And I'm just going to sit here. I'm not going to gunfight with him. I'm not going to give up my body. Whatever it might be, you'll figure that out by doing these drills.
That's right. The best players in the world are the best at not getting shot by the other side of the field. So the best Dorito players in the world are the best at being elusive to the snake side and not allowing that player to shoot me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa. The best snake players in the world are the absolute best at being elusive to the Dorito side and not letting a Dorito player shoot them. It's that cat and mouse game that you're playing with each side of the field. And those are what make the best players in the world, is that awareness of what's going on each side. And like you said, just being there for your team is going to do so much for the camp on that side. Like your side is going to be stronger just having you sucked up into your bunker and staying alive. We don't need you to wild out and get pieced out and take a long walk off the field. We just need you to be there so that we can put a game together and close this thing out the right way. And like you said, communication is key. Tossing the ball backwards, right? Like we talked about. Toss that ball right back to your teammate. You guys start putting together a plan, see where the guns are at, get him down the field, shoot the guy in the back or whatever we got to do to open that up. And then I'm off to the races again and going to get more kills. And now we just got,
Absolutely.
Now instead of losing me, we just picked up 2 kills, and it's a huge shift that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're one of the best at that. We could always count on you to be alive in those spots. It's like, it's such a valuable thing, man. I just can't stress that enough, because coaching really makes you see a lot of these mistakes. When you coach these, you just really, they're highlighted. And then it's great because it constantly reminds you of what not to do,
Very true.
And I love what you said, because I actually just had a meeting with one of the teams that I'm coaching this year. Shout out to my boys, Gator Gang. But I was telling them exactly what you just said. How we grew up. If you're a snake player, don't ever get shot by the Dorito side.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a Dorito player, don't ever get shot by the snake side. Just make that a rule. You should be playing heads up anyway. Wrap and go.
That's
you
right.
know.
That's right. And that's a huge piece right there too, dude.
Players.
Me and you have scratched our head quite a few times watching paintball players navigate a field, and they're in a position to wrap around the bunker and put someone in, or even get an elimination and keep moving. And they're on the inside shooting some weird lane or just sitting there on a cut. And it's like, wrap around your bunker and get to work, bro.
Yes, totally.
Or sister. And
right.
It's like, that's the most important thing. That's what the top players do. They're looking for that next bite. They're looking to move the chains. Like that was one of our mantras, that I started saying at practice, is like, yo, let's move the chains a little bit at a time, 10 yards at a time, 10 yards at a time. And just don't take huge bites and get shot to pieces. Just move those chains 10 yards and we'll get a touchdown. I promise. If you just stay alive and we keep moving these chains, we're going to make things happen. And that's the wrap and go,
wrap and go. Yeah. Absolutely, dude. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay. So let's see. We talked about some different, the comfortability drill, shooting drills, target drills is very important. This one's huge for front players, right? At the end of all of our practices, we stay, because we don't have our own field. We have to play at a public field typically, and sometimes, we do, if we're at victory, we get like a nice little rotation, 3-team rotation, something like that, which is amazing. But it's not like we can stop the practice and say, hey, all right, guys, well, we want to shoot targets, because there's teams that are also playing. So we wait it out. Other teams leave, and that's when you get to put in the work. You have the field from whatever time that is until the sun goes down, right?
Until the sun goes behind those mountains, baby.
Exactly, dude. You've got a little sun setting behind your mountains right there. I love it. But yeah, that's what we say, till the sun sets behind those mountains out there at Victory Paintball Park.
Yeah.
But set up targets and go through the progression from, the 2 on, say, the Dorito on both sides, but we'll go with 2 on the Dorito side, shooting at like a 50 guy, put a target in your mirror. You got to put him in, get into the next spot, go through the progression. Every bunker that you're going to be at, put targets in all the spots that the bad guys are going to be at, and just put together a little obstacle course. Get creative with this. You can do this on every single layout there is, and
It's
just
fun.
get really good at it. It's fun. Yeah, get good at like sliding in, coming out, shooting a spot, coming up, coming across, sliding in, coming up. Make sure every move is so crisp. I can't tell you enough how many times we talked about this, right? Me, you, Dalton had this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Paintball movements is a game changer. If you can be elusive in your movements, and that's like, I see so many players, they get shot sliding into a bunker, not because they made a bad move. It's a bummer because in their mind, they walk off and say, oh, my timing was off, or, oh, that was a bad move, or I waited too long. I didn't see the window. Actually, you're wrong. You honestly just didn't have the fundamentals right. You slid in improperly. You came up short.
Away.
The move was good. You weren't aware of the angle. You didn't get to the safety spot that you needed to, and you weren't low enough, and or you came up into their gun rather than, running the right route into that spot. And so doing these kind of drills, you can get really comfortable with those movements and really fluid. And you have your teammates behind you saying, hey, you kind of overslid here, you underslid here, get in there quicker. This is important. This is crucial. What do you think they do in the NBA, in the NFL, NHL, professional tennis, soccer, you name it.
And
if
paintball.
You're a professional organization, and paintball, if you're trying to get better at stuff, this is the formula. This is the formula. You have to break everything down to a micro level and just try to fine tune all the little things. Like anything that you can think of, if you can make it smaller and work on that, do that.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
It's fun, man. It is so much fun. Like these are some of the most fun times I have at practice. They're kind of grueling and it's really tiring, but what you get out of it is magnified when you get onto that paintball field at a tournament, and those things that you were training on, you're like, whoa, I hit that slide just crispy, right on the line, came out, made my shot, made my next bump, and was able to attack the field properly. Where, like you said, if you're doing yourself a disservice if you give yourself away. You put all this time and money into playing the sport, and then you get shot off of these just silly little details that you could work out on a paintball field if you just take that bag of paint and put in the time. And like I was saying, it's fun. Like these routines that we do, they're really fun. You have all your boys with you, or, boys and girls, doesn't matter. Everybody playing paintball lined up. And then you have this routine that you set up, and it's like a route system. So you slide into the first bunker, put a shot into, your mirror or whatever shot you choose, make that next bump slide. And you have your guys or girls behind you saying, hey, that was a little bit off, to the right, to the left, and then just critique each other and help each other grow. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I always like giving examples because I think it drives home the point to listeners if we're ever doing clinics or whatever it might be. But I can't even begin to tell you how many times, but I'm sure all the listeners have seen at least once. If they watch Go Sports, they've seen you make moves and shoot people, like when you're going from a Dorito to another Dorito and you just shoot someone like on the move. And I hear what people say about it, like, oh my God, Tyler's a monster. How did he do that? Like, you didn't just get lucky. It's not like you're just, well, I don't want to, I'm going to say this wrong, but what I was going to say is it's not that you're just so good that you just miraculously make those shots. You do that exact drill over and over and over. That's why you're so good.
I already see it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you do that exact drill. I see you at the field going from Dorito to Dorito doing those shots, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, Kevin Durant a couple years ago in the finals when he was playing with the Warriors, he made that big, deep 3-point shot to beat the Cavs. And he literally said in his post-game interview, and whether you're a big fan of Durant or not. I do this
all the time.
He's like, dude, I've made that shot 10,000 times. It was just that, like, the magnitude of the game didn't matter. I've done that shot so many times, So,
and it's no different for off the break shooting too. Like people say, "Oh man, this guy gets lucky with his off the break shot," or it's like, no, this guy is clocked in and working you to the bone.
A-Rod's a great example, dude. A-Rod, as soon as a layout drops, he's on that field all the freaking time,
Right.
Props to him. And he shows up and he gets a kill off the break almost every point. But
Absolutely.
it's not just because he's good at paintball. It's because he continues to do the work
Mm-hmm.
that it takes to get those kills.
He sees
You
it.
know?
It's
Yeah,
already
you
in
see
his
it.
mind.
Right.
It's already
Yeah.
something that he's visualizing. He's seeing that shot. And same with these shots down the side or down the snake side when they make miraculous shots. They're seeing the shot. They've already went through all the motions in their head and they're just laying it out.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, in the finals, in that overtime point, that gunfight I had with Billy,
Yeah.
that was an actual drill that I set up when me and Ryan were going to victory during the week.
Yeah.
I put a target at that 50 and I was in that little God spot and I shot at that target over and over and over because I figured, okay, if I'm going to be a 2 on this side, I might be in this shitty little temple and somebody's in this 50. Put yourself in the uncomfortable position and, make the shot.
Well,
It,
thank
it,
God for that shot. And and just to remind everybody, we are changing the bunker code names this season. It is going down. We're going to be restructuring how we call bunkers. You know what I mean? Because it's still, dude. We get comments still. They're like,
we can call it Sonic.
Sonic. Yeah.
Sonic could be the god. I like that.
Sonic.
I like that.
There we
Again,
go.
shout out to Gator Gang. One of their codes is Sonic, and I was like, hey, that's a tight name. I was listening in. They probably are going to be stoked when they hear this. They're like, what?
We should do something fun like that, like Marvel characters, or like, it could be literally anything. We can have fun and rename this and make it a little bit more socially acceptable, I think. You know what I mean? Because like we said, we want to package paintball in the best possible light we imaginably can, so that if a big dog does see paintball and they come out and watch, there's nothing like we always say with paintball, we don't want to do something that we can prevent that's going to hold us back. And same thing with everything, like our verbiage, the way that we carry ourselves. We got to just present this in the best light. And PTG is going to be doing that this season.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. We've talked about that's a full day of practice right there. And honestly, I think you just replicate that. And as you start playing more and more points, you're going to see different situations that expose your weakness, right? And so then what you want to do is you just recreate those situations in drills. Use your brain. It's not that difficult. You're like, okay, dang, we got chewed up on that side, or that team that we were practicing shot us going out almost every time to the Dorito side. So do some drills where you play 3-on-5 or 4-on-5 and you have no Dorito guy, right? Yeah. So that you're comfortable in that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
overcomplicate it,
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, okay. So that's,
well, I just want to say, don't overcomplicate this. Like Marcello was saying, like, watch what the paintball game is doing. If the paintball game is showing that it's going to turn into a lot of 3-on-3s, do a lot of 3-on-3s. If it shows that this guy gets shot on this side predominantly, okay, let's play those situations where we've lost this guy. We got to really hone in on those different, fundamental aspects of the game, however it presents itself. Just don't overcomplicate it. Yeah.
Absolutely. I actually think for a blind layout, a lot of the practice philosophy remains the same. They'll have similar effects. Like doing the comfortability drills will have similar effects. It won't be as good because you're not going to be in that actual position in the tournament, but it still teaches you as a paintball player to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations, which is crucial, right? You can still work on fundamentals. You can still do all that kind of stuff, and you can do a lot of team building. You really want to focus on communication and playing together, closing games, understanding the tempo. You want to beat teams to the 50 and then wear them out. Don't be too excited once you get to the 50. You want to work on a lot of philosophy and things like that, right?
Yeah, for sure. Blind layout, you're going to be having to pick up the pieces as you go a little bit, like with the layout, we're talking about all these intricacies and having all the shots as I move from bunker to bunker dialed in. That all just goes right out the window, and you kind of have to freestyle it for a little bit until you can figure out which shots are super important. But you're kind of I think that you will be able to, make those little bumps, move those chains a little bit quicker in the beginning of a tournament. It'll slow down as it progresses, obviously, but take advantage of that. If that is the case, obviously don't push it to the point where you get shot. The most important thing is that you're alive out there. We need everybody alive. But also, if you don't feel that paint on your bunker, wrap and go. Be looking to move the chains, get that next 10 yards, and then hold up at the next bunker. If nobody's shooting at you still, wrap and go. And use your ears. Cannot stress this enough, man. People just don't use their ears when they play paintball. All I'm doing is listening. I'm listening to paint. I'm listening to where their guns are shooting. I'm listening to if I hear a guy down my tape, listening if paint is hitting from a certain angle. It's all about listening to that paint.
Well, I hate to break it to you, Ty, but not everybody has ET in their phoning home to them.
I got
telling
the
them where the
mothership.
bad guys are.
The mothership's right above me, just telling me where
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah.
at.
Another super important thing for practicing blind layouts is spend a good amount of time walking the field. Get good at the art of walking a field. That's like second nature to us because back in the day, 7-man events like that, we grew up to where you would show up and there would be 4 different fields and you were going to play all 4 fields. They were all 4 laid out different. You would have the JT field, the sup air field. You'd have all these different fields that all were completely different.
That was fun.
Your prelims, that was tight, dude. I would love to go back to that. 7-man like that. Honestly, that I think was my favorite kind of format. It was
cool.
You know what I really loved was when they did the 7-man that we played together in 2012, where it was like best out of 5.
Yep.
Was it best out of 5 or race to 5? I forget, but
I think it was best. Yeah.
Maybe it was, but that was tight. That because it was like a little bit of X ball, but it was still 7-man where the fields were a little bigger, 7-on-7, big creative moves were possible. Like that was a really good formula. I loved that. They did a great job with that. But
and it's an art form, like you said. Like
it is.
Walking the field is an art. It is.
Yeah. So you got to practice that, right? We got a lot of practice growing up. We were forced to do it. That's how it's just how it was. So you guys should spend a good hour, 2 hours walking the field. If this means you have to get there at 6 o'clock before everyone starts playing, then fucking do it. Do the work. Yeah. No excuses. But I gotta say, long answer made short. If you want to have the most productive practice possible, bring me and Tyler out for a PTG private pro school, and we will hook you guys up. We will lace it up from top to bottom. It'll be super fantastic.
Yeah, and we'll have a lot of fun. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Okay, regional leagues. I want to talk about some regional leagues going on. There's a lot of exciting stuff. There is. First I got to show major love to Mike Hinman, WCPPL on the West Coast. Definitely the most dominant regional league, it seems. I've been out and coached at so many of the different divisional leagues, and I think they have the best talent. I really do. It's a very competitive league. Yeah, it's booming. There's a lot of teams. It's very competitive. It's run really well. A lot of people know about the WCPPL. And they did just announce their first one is at ASG end of March like 27th, I think. And I think their second one. Yeah, and then their second one is out in Arizona. I don't know, but I think it's the first time they've been to Arizona, which is pretty cool. So that's
I would like to say I had a huge part in that. So huge shout out to WCPPL.
You had a huge part in that?
I'm just joking, but yes.
Oh. I mean, to be honest, Ty, I feel like in some way you kind of did. Arizona paintball is booming right now. It's great. It's really good because there has always been a good scene in Arizona. It just seemed like there was no direction, nowhere, and actually major shout out to Jerry, who is now like an assistant coach from Aftermath. I've known Jerry since it's been like 9 years now, and he's just been pushing for Arizona paintball for so long out there, and doing a really great job. So that's cool to see.
Shout out to Jerry.
That's cool to see. There's going to be a tournament out there, a good sized tournament as well. So good for AZ on that one. How's the weather going to be? I think that one's in is that in May?
I think that with global warming, we should be fine. The weather season has changed quite a bit. So I think that it gets hot later and cold sooner and just flip flops all over the place. So we'll see what Mother Nature hands us.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I think that's a good segue into the combine.
Yeah, and then
no, hold on. I want to talk about a few other leagues. Sorry, a good segue into the combine. We'll get to the combine in a second.
Yeah, I want to shout out to Dave Baines' league. Shout out to the CEPL up in NorCal. They're going to be having some events up there as well, and awesome. And I know you got the dudes on the East Coast as well. We want to give a shout out to the East Coast. I know you're texting right now, but.
Sorry for the listeners. I actually did just get an important text. Damn. But we're supposed to have our phones on silent, but you just busted me in front of everybody. I
Yep.
okay. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, dude, major shout out to the East Coast. One of the leagues that I spent last couple years coaching at is the OPS out at Matt's Outback. Major shout out to Tom, the owner of the field out there. They do a really nice job. It's a fun league. The field is really nice.
There's so many
Unfortunately, I'm not.
amazing leagues out there.
There really are, dude. There really are. And one that I'm really excited to go to is the NEPXL. It's
Yeah.
Anthony and Lori's league, actually, out there in
Beautiful.
Boston. I'm going to be coaching the Wrecking Crew guys at their first event for sure in April.
Nice.
So I'm really excited to see what they do. I know they always, every event they run is top notch. I mean, Anthony and Lori just do such a good job with that from top to bottom, and they have a good supporting cast as well. But I'm really excited to get out there and see firsthand how that
Yeah.
league's ran and see the talent, that goes out there and balls in Massachusetts.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, if anybody needs a coach, I'm available, and we can go heads up against Marcello out there and have some fun with that.
There we go. Bring it on, baby. Let's go. Let's go. You're the one-on-one champ out here in the Pro Tour, but I'll tell you what, I'm the coaching champ. Summer camp champ 3 years in a row, baby.
Let's go.
Coaching's really fun, dude. I love it. I really do. I love it. It's a cool thing when you see your ideas click with the group, right? And you see them exceed and how just happy they get from that, from excelling. It's badass, dude. Coaching is one of my favorite parts of the game for sure. I'm glad that I love it because it's become a big part of our jobs, and I don't know that anything will ever be better than competing. I just am a fiend for competition. I don't care what it is. Obviously, I called you on the way home from golf so mad. But that still is like I need it. I need competition, and anyone that knows me is just, they understand that. So I don't know if anything could ever take that. But I get the same way when I'm coaching. Like there's times when I want to break my clipboard. I'm just like so furious, I take that shit personal. When the team that I'm coaching loses, I take it really personal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. I'm like, man, fuck, what could I have done better? What did I miss?
That's what it's all about. And that's why you are where you are. That's why, people who are successful, they take responsibility. They take responsibility. There's no excuses. There's no, excuses and blame will just keep you prisoner of mediocrity. So if you want to move beyond being mediocre at something, start taking responsibility, and then you'll see yourself flourish.
Yeah, 100%, Ty. That's great advice. So shout out to the OPS. One league that I did want to talk about, because there are some newcomers on the block. I'm curious to see what they do. They were supposed to function last year, and I think they maybe had one event and then didn't do the rest. But it's the FTP, for the Players League.
That sounds
and their
tight.
whole thing. Yeah, their whole thing. They're ran by a semi-pro team called the Newbies. And their whole thing is giving away a lot of prize money. So I think for D4, first place is $5,000.
There we go.
That's really good for Division 4. Are you kidding me? That's fantastic. So, their whole model is around giving really good prize packages. Curious to see how sustainable it is, how many teams sign up, all of that stuff. You know what I mean? But something like that's pretty cool. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see how it goes. I should be out there also coaching at least 1 or 2 events this year. If they end up doing all 5, it might turn out to be more. We'll see. I know a lot of teams are excited to go and play that simply because, it's a good payout, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, the NXL took a different route to that, but they're doing the same kind of thing where, you might not get it in the first tournament, but the big payout is if you can do well enough to make it into that premier, tournament. They're calling it the Champions Cup. Is that right? Champions Cup.
Yeah. Yep.
So then you get the big payout. So we'll see how everything pans out after 21, and we look back at the landscape and see, hey, this worked really well. This kind of didn't do quite what we thought it was going to do. And then I'm sure there's going to be more moving and shaking after this year as well, as there always is.
Yeah, I liked Super Cup more than Champions Cup.
I know, and Tommy was saying it over and over and over in his interview.
I know. That was funny.
He likes it too.
Also, shout out to the MVPS down in Florida. They do a great job. They run a pretty big league, and Florida is actually booming as well for talent.
There we go.
Honestly, hey, if there's any leagues out there, any regional leagues that we missed, we apologize. Just shoot us a message. We love
Oh,
to
there's
talk about you
tons.
guys and see there's so many leagues, and
Yeah.
these regional leagues are very important. They really are.
They're the cornerstone of it all.
Yeah. Getting teams out at the local level, playing events that they're having fun at and enjoying just playing the game.
That's right.
And it's affordable. More power to them. Like we want that. We support that full on. So
yeah, those are the players that are going to go on to, make those leaps and make the big jump to go find a pro team to get on, or, pursue that lifestyle and that career. It all starts at the local level. I know I started playing out at Extreme Paintball, 3-man tournaments. And then before you know it, I was going to the Pan Ams. And then after the Pan Ams, the
the Pan
NPPL.
Ams, dude. The Pan Ams. Those were great.
So it's all local paintball, man. We got to nurture local paintball and make sure that we sustain that and make it absolutely thrive. And that will nurture the future of our sport for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
And shout out to the Arizona leagues. I know there's a couple of them out here. I'm sorry that I'm kind of dropping the ball on knowing the exact name about them, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the Arizona culture as well. So let's keep boosting that and making sure that we get a lot of participation, and if anybody needs help, we're always here for you guys. You can always pick our brains. That's the cool thing about, pro paintball as opposed to maybe some other sports is we're here for you guys. We're here to make sure that this game is going to be around for a long time, and we have to legitimize this sport. And that's what we're trying to do every day. That's what we're trying to do. We chip away at that every day.
I agree, dude. You're the fucking man, Ty.
That's what it's all about, dude.
So speaking of the Super Cup, we're going to call it the Super Cup.
Super Cup.
Speaking of the Super Cup, what do you think about the Super Cup? I know we've talked about it a little bit for the listeners, but
I think it's pretty rad. You can possibly win a pretty big prize package to where it would be like, I think it's 50 grand or 40 grand for the first place.
50.
Is it really?
50
wow.
grand.
So then, I mean, you divvy that up between the team and you're doing okay with a win like that. I think that it's very cool that they're getting all these nations involved, and we're going to be able to get the reach of paintball a lot further. There's going to be a lot more viewership going on with something like this. The way that they've designed it is for viewership. That's the tactic. And the reason they're doing that is because no big companies are going to take us seriously unless we have the numbers to back what we're doing. So it's a very tactful way of getting viewership, and I support that. I think that paintball needs to get the numbers so that we can get it into people's homes and get it to where people actually know that I'm not running around in the sticks and woods, which I do as well. I do all of it. But the sport of paintball that has yet to be legitimized, and like I said, that we're working on diligently to do those kind of things, we have to have the numbers before anybody's going to take us seriously.
I agree.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think about Super Cup? And the season as a whole? I like that there's so many tournaments. I think that's really cool as well.
Yeah, I do like that there's a lot of tournaments. I got to say I'm not so excited about the timing. I think it's kind of silly. I think it's silly for us to try to compete with football. I know it's on Pro Bowl weekend, but still all the practices leading up to it are like playoff time. Anything that's it's just tough. Like a lot of people are focused on football during that time, and you're going to try to get people to tune in. And I know not many people watch Pro Bowl. I guess I watch Pro Bowl, I would rather play a tournament than watch the Pro Bowl, but I'm not so sure that viewers are going to rather watch than watch Pro Bowl. I don't know. Also not so stoked that we don't get an off season now, and look, I'm down to work. I'm down to work hard. I've always been down to work hard. But at the same time, at some point, it's like, we're not like these NFL, NBA players. We're making a ton of money. We do a lot of traveling. We sacrifice a lot to play at the highest level. And those 2 months to spend during the holidays with our families, to me, are really important. Like I usually take just December. I'm just focused on hanging out with my family and catching up because I'm flying 200,000 miles a year all around the world and I barely get to see them.
That's right.
And so
now, that's gone.
Now that's gone, now it's still going to be all focused on getting ready more than ever for that Super Cup that's at the end of January. So once World Cup's done, first week in November, teams are going to be on the grind. You're going to have to be, because that's the only event that matters for getting a paycheck.
Dude, what do you think about winning World Cup and Super Cup? How does that sound?
Sounds really dope. I'm curious to see what it takes away from the World Cup though now. You know what I mean? Like, I understand they didn't want to have the Super Cup be the World Cup event because that's the best event in the world, and you don't want to mess with that. It's not like it's not open to all the teams, right? It's a limited format, only 12 teams from each division. So that weekend in Florida just appears to work for everybody around the world. So you got to keep World Cup there. I get it. I understand Tom's position. I truly do. I just personally am a little bummed that I can't sit there and eat wine infused cannolis all December and and laugh it up with the fam.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It'll be good. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't need those wine infused cannolis in December. You know what I'm saying? I don't need them. I'm still shedding the weight. So, we'll just stay crispy year round.
Dude, that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah. Look, I like change. I like that we're trying stuff. I think it's exciting. I do think that it's something we can really get around and push and promote. A big event, 50 grand, teams from all over the world. So I think it could be fantastic. I'm up for it.
Where are they doing it?
Probably Florida, right?
Yeah.
You'd imagine. Yeah, I assume
was thinking
Florida.
they might like do somewhere that's more. I guess Florida is about as central as you can get without going to Europe. Or
yeah, dude, Florida's central. That's 100%. People coming over from Europe,
and South America, and
it's right
absolutely.
there. Florida's great. So, and obviously with COVID, I mean that's a ways away, but you never know. You definitely never know. There's apparently all this stuff that's going on. So who knows? Florida will likely be open. They can host the events, which is why they did 2 events there, right?
And
this year
I will
doing 2.
say they did a really good job of just making sure that, they did the best they could with the circumstances they had. Obviously, it's not ideal, but the NXL was able to do a good job of putting on a safe event. There's no crazy stories of us causing some, horrific outcome. It was run well enough to where we didn't have any catastrophes. And I think that's all you can ask for.
In 2020, we got to have the World Cup. That's amazing, dude. I like major props to the NXL for making it happen, pushing through. And, for the most part, there were some bad boys at World Cup. But for the most part, people, that's life. For the most part, people were pretty respectful and tried to do their best, which is what it's going to take, to continue to have those things. So, yeah, I was pumped, man. In 2020, that kind of a year, we got to go and have a big event. That was amazing. So,
dude, absolutely.
Fantastic. But yeah, dude, I'm excited. Like I said, I don't mind change. That's one of those things to me in paintball. Yeah, I'm sure it's the same with you because we've seen so many iterations of the game.
That's it.
I'm down to try it.
Let's see if it works.
Let's keep working until it works, until something hits, because we have something here with paintball that we believe in. And I'm not an idiot. I'm not a dumb person. I'm very aware of other things going on in the world. I'm very aware of other successful entities, other sports, what causes them to be successful. And paintball's not far off. We just need to find that right thing that hits. We need to do a little better job of marketing and promoting it. And I think that's the whole goal with the Super Cup, is having something that we can promote and market and be this big, grand kind of thing. So that's good.
And the whole goal of PTG, that's why we created this.
Absolutely. 100%.
For sure.
Dude, still shout out to the players that, started playing because of this podcast. That's the coolest thing ever.
Dude.
Even had this lady reach out to me on Instagram. I'm bummed. It was about a month ago. I haven't brought it up on the show yet, so I forget her name. I apologize. But she had just started playing for fun, and started going out with her boyfriend and loves playing. And she just stumbled across the show. Like that's really cool. That's really cool. If we could do more of that, I'll call it a day, dude. I'm ready to retire.
And we have quite a few people that follow the show and that have started playing paintball. So huge shout out to the PTG fam, everybody out there supporting. We love you immensely.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Yeah. So back to Super Cup and the league. Yeah. There's talk about going to a limited pod format, 4 pods. How do you feel about that?
I feel great about that. I shoot at least 5 people with 1 hopper every game, so I'm good to go with 4 pods.
You only bring 4 pods on the field. It drives me fucking crazy.
I bring 6 to 7. I do. My pack is a 5-pack, and I hold 2 on the side, so that's 7 I bring out there.
What world?
In World Cup.
What world? Okay.
I brought 7 at World Cup.
Is that the first event you've ever carried 7 pods?
No, it's not.
I'm busting your chops, but typically, Ty, typically,
well,
you're
like I said, I shoot 5 people with a hopper. So that's
Exactly.
all I need.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
I do like to advocate for front players to be shooting a lot of paint. It doubles down on applying
I
pressure.
agree. I
But
agree.
you're a dominator. So when you
I
shoot
do.
5 with the first loader, I mean,
Yeah,
there's nothing else to shoot at.
I do my job. I do what coach tells me or the team tells me to do. If you let me off the leash, I'm going for the 5-pack with the hopper. If you want me to stay and shoot, I'll shoot too. I can do a little bit of both.
Actually, you're very right with that, Ty, and it's something I appreciate. We're similar in that we are disciplined. If this is what the team needs, it's what I will do, and I'll do it like to a T.
Yeah.
And you are right. You were in that tower at World Cup, making it rain. You definitely shot more paint at Cup for sure.
Yeah, they had me shooting snake way. I was getting tons of kills off the break that way. I was dominating off the break.
No, that was all Ryan. They gave those all to Ryan,
yeah.
dude.
Forgot about
They
that.
gave them all to Ryan. What are you talking about, dude?
I know.
He was sprinting full force like Braveheart at them.
Yeah. No, he did. He was
to,
smoking them off the break. And shout out to Ryan,
Remy.
the MVP of the World Cup. That dude dominated out there. And just one of the, greatest teammates you could ask for, honestly, on the field. That guy will go above and beyond to help you out. And he's just a dominator. So huge shout out to the MVP.
He has some really cool stuff right now. He just got some really cool little MVP stickers from Island Design. Shout out to James, our homie over at Island Design, hooked Ryan up. You guys could head over to the Spick and Span show. Yep. I watched a couple episodes. If you guys haven't seen the Peanut Brutal one, it's pretty funny to see what Ryan will do for some likes. But it's pretty funny. That looked gnarly. Tyler, let's never do that. Let's never do a challenge where we have to force feed really bad stuff down our throat.
Now we have
why would
to.
we do that?
Now we have to.
Now we have to. I'm not me. I'm sticking to my guns.
I'll do it.
Sticking to my guns. Okay,
I'll do it
all
for
right.
the likes.
You freaking carnival boy. Oh man, what was I gonna say about that though? Yes, this last weekend, I was hosting tryouts for the Lords. I'll be coaching the divisional camp Lords in the WCPPL, so we were doing some tryouts. We're still looking for a couple players, so if any players that are serious about learning, growing, and winning some tournaments this year, and you're like D3, D4, D5, hit me up. We're looking for a few spots to fill, and it's going to be a good camp. But anyway, we had tryouts, and Ryan, Malice, a bunch of the guys came out, so I let them jump on. But I made them play with like the D4 guys against the D3 guys, of course. Ryan was getting shot, got bunkered. He was super pissed. He was like, it's this. I don't know. I've broken paint, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, it's all good, man. It's all good. Just your first point. Like, dude.
Yeah. One of the most humbling moments for me, and you can watch this on YouTube. This guy, shout out to Will Ball for Soup. Thanks for just making life real, because it's real life. You know what I'm saying? I hopped on with this like divisional team and, thinking, oh, this guy's going to have my back. No way.
No.
Not looking the right way, not doing anything that you're supposed to do during the game to like be connected and work together. And I'm like in the 40 and just get bunkered by this divisional guy. And Will Ball for Soup, shout out, go check it out on YouTube. He got it on video. And then the next 2 or 3 games, I bunkered him ruthlessly after that.
That's funny. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to Ryan. His back guy just didn't have his back, and he was like, dude, come on. Come on. It's hard, man. It is hard. It's hard because when you there's certain things as a pro player that you just expect. You don't communicate it because you expect that's being done. And then when you play in the lower divisions, it's not being done. And you're like, oh, man. Reality check, you know what I mean?
It just makes you, dude. The motto after that, I was like head on a swivel. You know what I mean? Like, you can't trust anybody out here. You're like, okay, guys, stay active.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited to get to practice. That's something I really do love about Ryan is he's down to play every weekend. Like he at 45 years old, he's down to put in more work than anybody else. You know what I mean? Like truly, there is not a day that you can ask him, hey, you want to go for a run or go play paintball or anything? And he'll say no, he won't. He's always down to put in the work. And it showed at Cup, obviously. And it's honestly showed for a long time,
Absolutely.
Ryan's been one of the best for a long time. It's not something new. It's not something new. No. So I'm excited to get to work with everyone. Obviously, we're going to have Yosh and Alex back. They're on board to work, so it's good things because the vets on our team are not too old by any means. No. The experience that the squad has, it's second to none. So if we put in the work and continue that moving forward, man, I'm excited for what this next year can bring.
That's the only way that we will win a tournament is if you actually clock in. If
Oh
you
yeah.
actually and it's one thing to pretend to do it or to talk about doing it. It's a whole nother thing when you just shut up and do it. You know what I mean? And you just stop talking and just clock in, or stop pretending and actually clock in. It's very fulfilling too. So I advise everyone out there, just don't even talk about it. Just do it. Just get it done. Do what you know you have to do and watch what happens. You're going to have a whole new outlook on paintball. Your team's going to have a whole new outlook on paintball. It's going to drive a lot of passion within the industry as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, dude.
Couldn't agree more, man.
The combine is coming up.
Yes, Arizona Combine. There's still 3 spots, listeners. If you're in the Arizona area and you're not signed up for the Combine yet, dude, come on.
Missing out.
You're blowing it. You're blowing it. It's a great
Yeah.
event. It's a really good chance to get noticed and get on our radar. So if you think you have what it takes to go pro and that's your dream, you have to be here, period. If you look at all the different players that have come through the camp and are now pro, Austin Beatty is going to be one of the professors at the Combine now. He's a pro player. He plays for AC Diesel. He fulfilled his dream. He came to the summer camps. He came to the Combines. He put in the work. And look where he's at now. Christian Martinez, another one that came up through the camp, plays for the Ironman now. Yeah. It's working. The program is working. The platform with the intention that we set out to do is working. And the results just speak for themselves. A lot of these players came in at like the D4 level. And if they're not pro, they're playing semi-pro or, D2 at least. So it's pretty massive, come out.
In the pudding.
The proof is in the pudding. Yeah. So if you guys need any information on it, just head over to paintballcombine.com or just hit me up or Ty, Ryan, Kyle, Anthony, Lori, anyone is happy to help, figure it out and help you get there because we want to see you.
There's only a few spots left. So if you have not signed up, you had better jump on it now. They're going to be gone. Yeah. I guarantee it. Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's only three spots. So, right. And actually one of those spots may have just been filled. So if you're interested again, the time is now. So
that's it.
All right. How about some big moves?
Big moves. We got big moves.
Impressed or not impressed or neutral? TJ Danner to X Factor.
He's good. I think that he'll do good on there. I'm impressed with TJ. I think he's a good player.
I'm impressed with that move too. I think it boosts X Factor. I think, coming off of a performance without Archie, where they honestly were a point away, obviously, of winning the World Cup, and now you boost that Dorito side with some experience. I think it's going to help them a lot. I'm a fan of that move.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to TJ. Good job, bud. Shout
out. While we're on the AC Dallas camp, Matt Jackson to Impact. Impressed? Not impressed? Neutral?
I'm neutral on that.
Me too. Yeah, 100%. Nothing to take away from Matt Jackson. He's amazing. He's a great player, but it's just with Impact, it's kind of strange. Like they have J-Rab, they have A-Rod, Nick Laval, all kind of Zach Yakimek, who is Matt Jackson's kind of role.
Yeah.
So I just don't know how well it's going to fit. People are going to be fighting for spins, and that always gets a little tricky, And
obviously he's a phenomenal player. The guy knows how to play paintball very, very well. I'm not entirely sure, like you said, with the demographic going on there, how that's going to pan out. And shit, it could be the best move that they make. I don't know,
Yeah.
But
totally.
there's a lot going on with the Impact camp. They got a big recipe going on right now.
I honestly think it's more to hurt other competitor teams.
Yeah.
Than it is to help them. Like, I don't know how much it helps them, but it definitely makes other teams weaker. And again, who knows? Like one thing that there is to be said about that is they could run 2 lines of all-star of studs, right? So people are really fresh come Sunday, which plays a role. It definitely plays a role. Mm-hmm. And obviously Dave Baines is a pretty damn good coach. He knows what he's doing. Bart does a phenomenal job. So they know what they're doing. I'm excited to see what they do. But I was kind of neutral on that as well. Yeah. Jerry Caro to NYX.
Hey, Jerry, let's go. I think, and he came from Impact?
He played Cup with Impact. Yeah, he actually, before that, he played on, not NRG. They're not a team anymore. They wore the Katana. He played on PC Katana. He played on the Ironman for a little bit. He played on Infamous for a little bit.
There we go. Yeah, he
I'm
was
impressed
doing
with that move.
he was doing good at
Yeah.
that practice that we had in SAC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm impressed because I think it's a good fit for him with NYX. I think he'll be allowed to kind of be himself, and if his mind's in the right place, he's a good teammate to have. I know there's been, he's kind of been a little wishy washy. He's had a lot of stuff going on, but I think he's ready to full on focus, and I think he could definitely be a big help to NYX.
That's so huge that you talk about that, because it really does, no matter if you're playing divisional or pro, or if you're playing putt golf, you gotta have clarity and be in the right mind space in order to accomplish your dreams. So that's huge. Absolutely.
Yeah. Winning the ultimate shootout.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not impressed.
Oh my God. Okay. Tell me why.
Well, I don't know. There wasn't really the toughest competition I've ever seen in my life in there. I think that this upcoming Ultimate Shootout is going to be the most grueling one that they've ever had. And nothing to take away from because even at Pro Tour, I think that there were some calls that were made by the refs at the Pro Tour when he went up against, who was it?
Pat Kraft.
PK. And that could have been a different game, because there were some things that happened during that game. You were there. Yeah.
Yep. Totally.
So Chad's a beast. Honestly, he deserves to play against top tier players, and I didn't see him playing against top tier players. So I want to see that. And that's no diss at Chad. That's my boy. But, I just want to see the best playing the best straight up. That's it.
I honestly am going to take a different stance and say that I'm impressed, and I'll tell you why. Although I agree with everything you said. The reason I actually am impressed is because I feel like he has come a long way. One, it takes a lot of balls to put yourself in that position and on like short notice. And you've done it. You're the one-on-one champ. So I totally understand you not being so impressed. People got to climb the mountain to get to you. But from kind of a fan's perspective, there's always been a lot of talk with in the league that he didn't deserve to be on Houston Heat, right? It's no secret. When he was first on the team, is always like, why is around all these superstars? And over the last couple of years, in my opinion, he's become a very effective player for them. He's become way more fundamentally sound. And so to me, for him to put himself in that position and go out on a limb, and
in that regard, I am thoroughly impressed in that regard, because and Yaya has been in the game for just about as if not as long as we have. You know what I mean? And I completely agree. In the last couple of years, he has made leaps and bounds on his game. And every practice when we play against Heat, he's someone I got to deal with. That he's always a thorn in my side, that I got to know where he's at, because he's going to come running through the middle or come streaking down his side. So he's been killing it, and he crushed it in the Ultimate Shootout. That's not an easy thing to win. No matter what, you're playing paintball, and you have to play against people, and they got paintball guns. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So to win that is a huge accomplishment. I know he can beat better people, and I want to see, like, at the end of the day, I'm just here to watch the best of the best play, and I won't be happy until all these big dogs, and everyone knows who the big dogs are in paintball. I want to see them all put their names on the line. I want to see everybody put their names on the line, and everybody crush it out in a one-on-one format. And really, let's chop it up and see who's the best players in the world. Let's see who's really the one-on-one moguls or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Dude, the next Ultimate Shootout's gonna be sick. I'm excited.
It is, dude. It is. I am too. Their timing for the dates is just so bad. It's over Super Bowl weekend. They're filming.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, they've got J-Rab, Ronnie Dizon.
Yeah.
Those are the two big hitters, but that'll be great. Is there any other big hitter?
Yeah, I was supposed to go out there, and I was chatting with him. I was like, so you guys gonna, fly me out there and take care of me? And I got crickets. So then that's kind of where the conversation ended.
Yeah, you got to pay your own way to those things. You get a chance to play in the Grand Prix for $7,000 though.
Yeah,
dude, we talked about this.
That's a good investment.
I should just invest in you. You want to go, Ty? You want to go out there and do it?
I already told them, but I'm not. It's principle. It's more of a principle thing for me. Like, I'm gonna
yeah.
bring so much value to the platform. I'm gonna bring a lot of excitement to the platform, and you can't. It's COVID times. The ticket's not that much. I mean, honestly, uh,
That's true.
yeah,
That's
it's
definitely
just a
true. Yeah,
principle thing.
I agree. I agree, man.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Do you have any questions for me on the impressed, unimpressed while I try to think of a few more?
Let's see. Impressed or unimpressed? Dynasty One World Cup.
Honestly, at this point, I feel a little neutral about it.
Yeah.
I really do. Yeah, it just feels like old news.
Yeah.
It,
Straight
it
up.
also, like, the reality of it is, we didn't play the best of some teams. That's the truth. X Factor didn't have Archie. The Russians
Well,
didn't
that was
have
because he got hurt.
Kirill.
So that,
I understand, but
yeah.
still, like, you look back at certain sports when the Warriors beat the Cavs the one year. Kyrie got hurt, so there was always kind of a asterisk there.
Mhm.
It's just the reality,
For
like
sure.
we talked about it. You want to beat the best of the best. Fedorov
Absolutely.
wasn't there. Dude, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Fedorov has been playing. He's been to 16 of the last 17 World Cups. Obviously, he wasn't at this one because of COVID. 16 of 17 is how many he's gone to. And he's won, I think, 7 of them and been in the finals, something like 13 or 14. I forget the number. Rainey broke it down.
That's
It's pretty
crazy.
crazy.
Whoa.
He's the World Cup god. He's like
Yeah.
the guy,
Yeah.
Um,
That's for damn sure.
yeah, I could be a little off on how many he won. Maybe it's 6. I forget, but it was a crazy number. I think it's more than anybody else, especially in the modern era. It's absolutely more than anybody else.
Wow.
And so, he wasn't there. Look, it is the reality of it.
For sure. That's kind of why I was, because we still have a lot of work to do. We didn't win
Yeah,
that. We didn't
exactly.
win that decisively,
Right. Totally.
We
I
let
agree.
them damn near come back and beat us.
Yeah.
So there's still so
Yeah.
much work that we have
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, I think people take it the wrong way that, like, afterwards I was celebrating a lot and, really enjoying it. But dude, how could you not in 2020?
Yeah,
Right?
seriously.
Like, any good moment that you had in 2020, shoot that shit to the moon, baby. Like,
Yeah.
it was one of those years. I've never been one to showboat or do anything like that. It's just not my style. But after
Mhm.
Cup, I was like, I'm doing it all, dude.
I know.
It was just
what a crazy year.
we needed that. It was a crazy year.
And the story with Dynasty, the 20-year anniversary and all
Yeah,
that, it was like
exactly.
cherry on top with everything there.
100%. And it was hard. Don't get me wrong. It was still an incredibly hard tournament. It was one of the hardest I've ever played. Truly, it was. And the practices leading up to it were grueling. Everything about it. It was hard in different ways than we've been accustomed to. I didn't really have a gym to go to. I had to find different ways to prepare and be in shape. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it was different than any other year. It was really hard to do, your normal routine and all
Very
that kind
true.
of stuff. So,
And you really saw who was actually like taking it to heart and
Yeah.
working,
right.
you know?
Totally.
Yeah. Because the people that weren't, you could tell they were, a little bit sluggish, a little bit off on the shot. The people who were taking that time to go out to the field and do sprints or do those little things, go to the field, shoot a little bit of paint, you really saw the details that came out at the end there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. That was a good one. You got another one?
I do not have any other questions for you.
All right. Well, with that said, I think it's almost time to wrap it up. I do want to give a shout out. We've been talking about revamping the Patreon, and I just want you guys to know, first and foremost, Tyler and I are very thankful for any and all support that you guys have given us, whether it's buying merchandise from us, supporting us on Patreon. Truly, we do take a lot of time to do this, and we love it. We enjoy it, but getting compensated for it from you guys through the support, it really means a lot. It really helps make this thing go smoothly. We're constantly trying to find new ways to make it better. As you guys can see, it got a nice camera for you. We need it. We're gonna, be upgrading mics, all sorts of stuff. We're just trying to give you guys the best show possible. So with that, we've been really working hard on revamping our Patreon so that we could bring you guys better rewards and tiers.
Working like maniacs.
We have a lot of indecision, and uncertainty of what the best thing to do, the best kind of perks. But we're going to be rolling those out very soon.
Mhm.
Actually, when you guys hear this, we might already have the new tiers on the Patreon website with all the rewards. We're going to have a very cool, very exclusive show once a month where the users, the members, the PTG players can actually interact with us. So that's going to be something really fantastic to look out for, and a bunch of other cool stuff. So
yeah, we've been working tirelessly to give you guys the most that we possibly can for what you do for us in our lives, because it's truly spectacular, the response and the energy that we've received from this show. And we want to, you know, do exclusive things for you guys as well, and stay tuned for all that. It'll be coming out.
Hell yeah. Awesome, man. Let's see, Ty, you got anything else?
Just stay safe and have fun, and hopefully get out there and shoot some paintballs and enjoy yourself, man.
Hell yeah, there we go, guys. Oh, also, hey, everybody, give us some feedback, would you, on what you thought of that James Krause show, having somebody outside of... Dude, I can't believe we didn't even talk about that. That was such a great conversation.
Yeah.
The way he was able to relate to paintball was so fucking cool.
Fighting and paintball.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we've said it for a long time.
Yeah.
He was pretty bright. If you guys haven't listened to that one, go listen to it, drop a comment, let us know what you think. Guys, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us out. Write some reviews on the whatever it is, man. You know,
connect.
We love you guys. Support, connect.
Yep.
All right, everybody.
Stay up, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Sure. Peace. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and hanging out with us. Thank you for listening to the show. We hope you enjoyed that episode. We're going to try to do some more of those. They're really fun. We think they're informative, and the feedback from you guys has been great on those. We know you guys do want to hear us talk a little bit more about current topics and news and things that's going on in the paintball world. So we will continue to do that. And again, we thank you so much for your support. If you guys would like to check out any merch we have or check out the Patreon that we were talking about, you could head over to ptgpaintball.com and have a gander. See if there's anything you like. You guys can also watch and listen to the show through the website. Our website is brought to you by Rusty Glaze at Concert Pursuit. Major shout out to him. If you guys need any web design work done, he is your guy. All right, everybody, stay tuned. We will see you very, very soon.